Yes, I mean, I'm
Definitely.
assuming you kind of know everything that we know so far and what is being reported, which is this near-catastrophic car chase. A lot of unanswered questions at the moment, Tessa.
Well, indeed. I mean, that's often the way when there's a live story unfolding, as you know, Patrick, newshound that you are. So I think things will become more clear as to exactly what happened over the next few hours. Of course, the timing is prescient in this case, with several court cases running here in London, or at least pending, regarding paparazzi, privacy, security. It feels like a sort of perfect storm moment, which I presume is why the news, and certainly your conversation I've just eavesdropped on about whether it really was a 2-hour car chase, is being greeted by some quarters with a degree of scepticism.
Yeah, no, indeed. And I think the geography of it, look, I don't claim for 1 second to be completely au fait with New York and Manhattan's road network, but just from people who are based over there, they do say that it might be quite a difficult situation to have some kind of 2-hour car chase over there. But I think, understandably, some parallels, of course, being drawn to Harry and his mother's sad passing. I mean, do you see this as maybe a little bit of a landmark moment? It does come, like you said, as a perfect storm moment, and a lot of people saying this probably wouldn't have actually happened, ironically, if they'd have stayed in the UK, because we do now have a very different relationship between paparazzi and the royals, as they do in America and celebs.
Yeah. I think our idea of an NYPD car chase anyway is so ingrained in us from sort of endless Hollywood movies that we couldn't believe that we could manufacture the equivalent. Heaven help us if we could. I think without a doubt we have to bear in mind Harry's backstory, of course, which he's articulated so poignantly in that particular chapter when he goes back in 2007 and visits the tunnel where his late mother lost her life. Certainly, for him, you know, any kind of event involving a car with a woman who he loves dearly is going to be a massive trigger. So who knows? Perhaps it wasn't 2 hours. It probably felt like more than 2 hours if Harry was at the receiving end of it. I have a degree of sympathy for them. It was meant to be a great night last night. She won a Woman of Vision award, looked cracking in her golden dress. Her mother looked even better, by the way. Daria Ragland, age 67, stepping out as a threesome. And it's a reminder, I think, in many ways, that no matter how hard we try to curate our stories, once we're out there in the public domain, it's very, very hard to dictate what comes next. And of course, Harry, in many respects, born into the royal family, had no choice about being a public figure. You could say he's exacerbated that celebrity. Others would say, well, that was the job he was born into. So I'm going to remain sympathetic and look forward to hearing what happens next in this story.
Indeed. I'm aware that you're a little bit pressed for time, Tessa, so I'm very grateful for you to give us as much of it. Just one more question, if that's all right. One of the reasons why I do really enjoy having you on the show is because you do always shoot from the hip and speak your mind, even if that maybe goes against the grain somewhat. Is there any case whatsoever to suggest that the way that Harry and Meghan have gone about their behaviour in the last couple of years has maybe done more to put themselves at risk of high-pressure paparazzi than if they'd have perhaps behaved differently, your views?
I think there is absolutely no doubt that they are far greater than the sum of their parts. They are extraordinarily famous. The way in which they suck oxygen out of almost any other story. I mean, in many respects, even though Meghan didn't turn up to the coronation, they still managed to provide certainly a large number of the headlines around that state event in a different country. Of course, they, to an extent, have fueled that. They're both media figures. They've curated their own Netflix program. Harry's written his own biography. But you and I are public figures, Patrick. Huge numbers of us writers in particular, could only long for the amount of traction that Harry's had with his book. I don't think if I publish a book, I then expect to, A, have my security rescinded, despite the fact I was born into Britain's most famous family, and secondly, expect to have my life imperiled when I'm coming home from an awards ceremony. So I think it's unfair to conflate the two, but it is a reminder that being rich and famous comes at a cost. And no matter how much Harry fights against the paparazzi, and he's doing so tooth and nail, credit where credit's due, you can't control them. And in a cost of living crisis, those photographers, etc., are out there, hungry hounds looking for their story. Incidentally, Patrick, I would be interested to know who the paparazzi were working for, the American press or indeed the British press.
Yeah, that's actually a really important distinction. We will hopefully get more info on that as and when this rolls on. Tessa, thank you.